Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you so much for joining today. We are so excited to host Ashley Duwel and David Neal to join us here today. They will be the instructors for the next 4 weeks, teaching you everything you need to know about getting ready for federal contracting and any kind of government contracting. And let me tell you, we've seen these two in action before. They're amazing. They're an amazing wealth of knowledge and information. And make sure you're taking notes or doing whatever, because you're going to get a lot of very valuable information over the next 4 weeks. So thank you so much for joining. We are recording the session. And before we let them loose on you and get started with all of the download of all of their knowledge and expertise, I would like to introduce them to you. Ashley, if you could wave. Ashley Duwel is a highly experienced federal sales strategist with a remarkable track record. Somebody needs to mute themselves, please. Okay. She's a federal sales strategist with a remarkable track record of helping over 500 businesses with more than 100 million in government contracts. That's nothing to sneeze at. As a founder and CEO of the Duwel Development LLC, she specializes in providing comprehensive support for navigating government systems and processes, with particular expertise and certification in implementing the efficient project management platform, Monday.com. Alongside her professional achievements, Ashley is dedicated to support veterans in their transition to entrepreneurship as a certified Veterans Assistance Counselor. With her strategic insights and deep understanding of government contracting, Ashley Duwel is a trusted advisor and well-versed in the challenges of small businesses face in the marketplace. So welcome, Ashley Duwel.
Thank you so much,
Ashley, for joining.
Great to be here.
Thank you so much. Next, we have David Neal. He is just as much of an expert. He's been doing this for a while now. Making the first step towards change is often the hardest thing to do, says David. David Neal is an experienced consultant and coaching professional focused on economically disadvantaged small businesses, providing MBE, WBE, STB, OSB, and hub zone businesses with the right tools and knowledge to grow their business with the federal government is his specialty. Bringing more than 15 years of federal business development to the table, he's a Sherpa for understanding how to sell and win contracts with the federal government. David has helped clients unleash their selling potential, paving the way towards both personal and professional success. Discover what he can do for you today, and you will. So help me welcome David Neal. Thank you, David, for joining. And as you know, this workshop is brought to you by the Arizona MBDA Business Center with Yvette, Vanessa, and myself, and we'll be doing this for the next 4 weeks. So thank you for joining. Take notes. Thank you. Go ahead, take it over.
Well, Alika, Yvette, and Vanessa, thank you so much for having us. Hello, everyone. My name is David Neal. And just briefly, before we get started, I want to go over just a few things for these next few weeks. Our program is called Federal Procurement Readiness. Ashley and I are going to try and share with you what it takes in order to sell and win with the federal government. And my focus and Ashley's focus is on what the government deems the economically disadvantaged businesses. So if you're an MBE, WBE, service disabled, veteran-owned small business, hub zone, Native American, that's who we have been working with and helping sell to the federal government. Today, we've got about an hour. We're going to go over NAICS codes, agencies, planning, and realistic expectations. And you're going to see how this flows into government readiness. And then at the end, we're going to try to leave room for questions, maybe about 10 minutes. We've got a lot of material. It's jam-packed. And before we get started, I'm going to let Ashley say hi, hello, and then we're going to jump right into it. Go ahead, Ashley.
Hey, everyone. It's great to be here. Thank you for having me. And it's great to see and meet all of you. Alika kind of explained my history, so I won't bore you again with that. But I think I commend all of you for showing up today and taking the next step. Government contracting is a commitment. A lot of folks think all I got to do is bid on Sam to win, and there's a lot more to it than that. So we're looking forward to sharing our knowledge with you so you can hit the ground running in your strategies.
So Ashley and I talked about this just for the sake of time. What we're going to ask everybody to do, be very, very brief. You don't have to, but we'd like to hear from you. But just state your name, and then if you have some sort of certification, 8A, HubZone, Veteran, let us know the audience and who we're talking with. If we can just get a little start, come off mute, introduce yourself. I'm looking at the screen. I see Eli. Maybe Eli could just state your name, state your business name, and what your status is. That would be very helpful.
Thank you. My name is Eli, and we own Cormac's Rigging Supply. We manufacture slings for lifting. We sell wire rope and hardware for lifting. We have a DBE certification and SBE.
Very good, DB. Okay, thank you. Thank you for being short and brief. John Boggs, could we hear from you? And then Eli, you can put yourself back on mute. Thank you. Go ahead, John.
Yeah, hi, I'm John Boggs. I run an executive leadership firm, Fortitude Consulting. We are an SDB, we are a service-disabled veteran-owned business. We're a small business, and we are a 8A.
Oh, excellent. Very good. Thank you. So I worked for 3 8As, graduated all 3 out successfully. So thank you, John, for that.
I need to talk to you later.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. There we go. Okay. Man, I got to get this right. Help me out. Milan Rice, and then John, you can put yourself back on mute, please.
Well, I wasn't going to say anything because I don't have any certifications yet. I'm working
Okay,
on it.
and that's fine. That's fine.
But I am a transformational life coach and speaker, and I'm also a trainer. And so what I train at different corporations, organizations, non-for-profits, I teach them about communication skills, definitely mindset, how to strengthen your mindset. And the overall goal is to help corporations keep their productivity up, because if people come with all their problems, they don't know what to do with it. So if they got somebody like me to come in and teach them how to deal with their problems while they're at work, then productivity doesn't stop. So that's what I do. And then I also life coach with one-on-ones with people who, that want it. But I'm working on certifications.
Okay,
I'm here to learn.
very good. All right, thank you. Thank you.
Mhm.
All right, go ahead and put yourself on mute. Then we'll go to Quentin Presley. And again, it's just your name, your company, and your status. That's all we need for now. Go ahead.
Yep. So my name is Quentin Presley. I own an engineering firm. It's H2Q Engineering and Technology Solution. We provide mechanical, electrical, and plumbing engineering designs to architects, building developers, homeowners. I do not currently have any certifications. I'm working on that as well. So I'm just trying to understand what's going on here.
Yeah, very good. All right. Thank you. Now, was it Raul Santiclean? Was it Raul? Did they say that right?
Yes.
All right. Good, Raul.
My name is Raul, and I own Santa Clean Solutions, which is a power washing company, and we are not certified in anything. So we're
okay. All right. Very good. Robert Howard.
Yeah, I'm Robert Howard. I'm with Primavera Grading and Paving, and we are DBE and SBE certified.
Oh, excellent. Excellent. Wayne Armagan. Wayne, were you in our, you look familiar, Wayne. Were you in our Govology class?
Yes, I was.
Yeah.
How are you, David?
Wayne,
and Ashley.
Yeah, that's right. You look familiar. Go ahead, Wayne.
My name is Wayne Armugam. I'm the owner of Luminous Egress. We provide a new technology for emergency management, providing illumination without the need for electricity or batteries or any sort of external power. We are SBE, DBE, and MBE also.
Excellent. All right. So I've 1, 2, 3. I've got 4 DBEs in the MBA. Okay. Anyone else? I don't see cameras on. Ashley, Lucy, does anyone else want to share?
Oh, MBE. I forgot to.
Say that again, John.
I'm also an MBE.
MBE. Okay, very good. Thank you. Anthony Davenport, go ahead.
Yeah, Davenport Management and Consulting, Program and Project Management Consulting, Change Management, SBE, DBE, MBE.
Excellent, excellent. Alexis.
Hi, yes. I'm with Liggett Electrical Services, and we're a woman-owned, minority-owned small business, and we do electrical and HVAC, and we specialize in solar.
Oh, very good. Nice, nice. Anyone else want to share?
Yes, hi.
Oh,
Sorry.
Hi, I'm Lucy. I work for Trooper USA. It's a commercial janitorial company. We're certified a veteran-owned business and a minority hub SBE, and we're working on SBA right now. So.
And these are some good certifications you guys have. If you don't have your certifications, as we flow through the class, you're going to see why you're going to want to get certified. So let me go. Is there an Abadiah? I just want to make sure I hit everybody's.
Hi everyone. I'm Dr. Abida Otley. I have a pharmacy consulting company. It's called Pharma Paraplui. And currently just HubZone certified, working on the woman-owned and working on DBE as well.
All right, excellent, excellent. And if you don't get time to share now, that's okay. We will have time either at the end or when we start our next class next week. But actually, let's get started, everyone. So one of the first things you're gonna want to do when you start to think about selling to the federal government, you need to know what a NAICS code is. Now, we're not going to go around and ask, does everyone know what a NAICS code is? I'm just going to share my screen. We're going to jump right into this. Let's see, where did my NAICS code screen go? Okay, give me a quick second. Oh, there we go. Okay. Oh, no, that's USA Spending. There we go. Can everybody see my screen? Ashley, can you see that?
Yes, it's visible.
Yes,
it's visible.
All right.
It's good.
Sorry, I had to fumble for my mute button over here.
Okay, so now we're on. Now we're good. Okay, let's talk just briefly about North American Industrial Classification System. This is very, very, very important. The government doesn't buy copiers. They don't buy cleaning services. They buy digits. They buy NAICS codes. And so it's really important that you speak the government's language. So we're going to just I think I heard a few things out there. I'm going to pull up a NAICS code, and then we're going to kind of walk through, and we'll help you out with a few of your own. So I thought someone said management consulting. I think I heard that. I was writing down a few notes here. So for administrative management and general management consulting services, the government buys a NAICS code 541611. Now, if this is what you do, and then you would go down, read your definitions, you would want to then, and we're going to use this page and these NAICS codes a lot. So one of the things that we're going to do, I'm going to copy this, copy that, and I'm going to put this into the chat so that everybody has that. Here we go, put that in the chat. Everybody should have that. There we go. Okay, now let me go back. So I'm stopping sharing here for a quick second. Does anybody here currently know what one of their NAICS codes is? Let's see. Okay, John Boggs, you're shaking your head. What's one of your NAICS codes?
Our primary NAICS code is 611430.
That's for training, I believe. That is for training, education and training. Yeah, and there was someone else on there for that as well. So let's do this. Let's go back to our page. Let me pull that page up. And I'm going to share. And somebody's off mute if somebody can go back on mute. All right, so John Boggs gave us his NAICS code of 611430. Really important that we know that. We're going to hit that. All right, so John, if I were to ask you if you can see the screen, advising clients, management, training issues without providing the training. Here we go, offering computer software training, offering academic degrees, publishing. When you look at this, does this kind of sum up what you do, John?
Yes, it does.
Okay, very good. So we've identified what John does by NAICS code 611430. Ashley, before I switch to USA Spending, do you want to say anything else on this?
So what I do want to say about NAICS codes is it's important to understand why they were developed. The NAICS system was developed for the government to track the budget, right? They're not supposed to be always exactly what you do. So for example, if I'm a government buyer and I spring a leaky roof, for lack of something better to give you as an example, that's not a planned purchase, right? So I may not have room in my budget for a roofing contractor. I'm going to slide that under something like facility support, because pretty much every agency has a facility support budget. So while we're going through NAICS codes, it is very important for your SAM registration and for your proposals to have an accurate list of your NAICS codes. However, when it comes to looking for opportunities, and as we go on, you'll kind of learn the difference. Makes more sense to look by keyword or even product service code, which we're going to get into in a minute. But these are very important. Understanding what they are and how they're used by the government is important for you to not only be responsive when it comes to bidding on proposals, but also to enable them to find you when they're looking. So that's all I have to say about that.
Very good. Okay. And remember, what we're trying to do, and we're going to take questions at the end, but we're just using and showing you how you can identify what you do with a NAICS code. And now we're going to go on to the next step. Save your questions for NAICS codes at the end. We'll come back to them. Okay, so we're John Boggs. We do training. We've identified our NAICS code. What do we do with that? Very good. So now we're going to take you to a website called USA Spending. Everybody see that? Ashley, you good with that?
I'll pop it in the chat for those of you
Excellent. Thank
who
you.
aren't familiar.
Okay.
We can see it.
All right. So John Boggs, what I'm going to do, I'm going to run through USA Spending because this is how you can take that NAICS code and you're really going to start to build out and plan out your strategic map for how you should proceed forward. So let's take the last couple fiscal years. We're going to take 2021 and 22. We're going to drop down here to NAICS code, and we're going to put in 611430. Professional management development training. We're going to identify that. We're going to come all the way down here and we're going to hit submit search. Now, what we've done, John, and if I got you right, John, you were service disabled veteran owned small business and 8A, right?
Yes.
John? Yes.
That's
Okay.
correct.
Good.
Yes.
Okay. So right away, John, this is now, I always advise my clients, you might not want to go out to the DOD right away, but you're a service disabled veteran owned business. So there could be something there for you. But right here, you've got defense, transportation, USAID, Homeland Security, the GSA, and Department of Health and Human Services. You've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now, before we go on, I'm going to stop share here for a quick second because this is really, really important to know. So we've taken a NAICS code, we've plugged it in to USA spending, and we have just identified agencies that are spending money historically. We went back 4 years with that NAICS code. Now, let's have a little interaction here with everyone. We've spent 21 minutes together. We've taken John Boggs from just a plain NAICS code. What have we shown him?
You shown me who's buying what I sell.
Ding, 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 ding. That's it.
That's what
Okay.
it's about, ladies and gentlemen.
You've got to know who's buying what you are selling. It's so important to do that. You could be knocking on agency doors, and guess what? They're not buying what you're selling. Does everybody? We can't be more clear about that. And we're going to refine this as we go. But we've just given John 5 agencies that historically over the last 5 years have spent billions, millions, billions of dollars in with his NAICS code. Okay, so again, our class is Federal Procurement Readiness. We're showing you how to take your product, your service, your NAICS code, plug it in. Now, the other thing I want to say is the NAICS code search and the USA spending, those are free tools. They're free tools for you to use. Okay, now we're going to go back. Are you ready for PSC, or do you want, Ashley? I'm going to plug in a couple other things. So you let me know when you're ready to talk. Okay, Ashley?
I'm ready whenever you are.
Okay, so let's come back here. Now, if I scroll down here, can we tweak this a little bit more? So we've got NAICS codes. Okay, where do you want me to do PSC codes, Ashley?
Well, for this use case, I would just like you to go up to the top under categories.
Okay.
Spending by, and click on awarding agency there. And change awarding agency to codes.
Okay, you're going to have to.
To the right, you see spending by awarding agency in the drop-down box.
Oh, yeah, right here. There it is.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay, and what do you want me to do?
Now go to the bottom one, which is industry code.
Got it. Okay.
And here are the product service codes that are being utilized inside John Boggs NAICS code. So the difference between NAICS and product service codes, you notice these look a little different. If you sell products, your PSC code is going to be 4 digits. If you sell services, they always start with a letter. And when it comes to having an accurate and robust profile and your SAM registration, your DSBS, product service codes are just as, even if not more important than NAICS code. And I'll tell you why. The government has never awarded a contract without a product service code attached to it. But if you dig far enough into USA spending, you'll see that they leave often enough without a NAICS code. So I tell you this to tell you, this is another great use case as to why when you're out there looking for opportunities, looking by product service code is a better way to go because they're more specific to what you do. And I'll also pop the product service code manual in the chat. They do change periodically. So if you ever, what is it, every 7 years, 5 or 7, with the census, they change with the census. And typically when they change, you'll want to go in, look at the new updates and add any new codes to your profile. But essentially, this is a great way to identify in all the areas that professional training is being utilized. So just kind of going through, there are two primary categories that stick out: U, which is the educational training, and then we also have R category, which is professional support category. So as long as John, you do everything on this list, it would be reasonable enough to add these product service codes to your SAM profile. Now, if you just say, you know what, I do all that, except I don't want to go and lecture, just leave that one out, right? But when you are setting up searches or bid matching or, out there looking on SAM, these product service codes are going to give you, they're going to yield a much more profitable result than a NAICS code search will. So that's my sort of soapbox on product service codes. And let me drop the manual. This is updated, so I'll always get it straight from the link. You can download it in different formats and browse through there to see which ones may be applicable to you.
Excellent. Thank you, Ashley. Okay, now, John, I got a couple things from you. You said you were an 8A, correct? Let's go.
Correct.
8A sole source.
I wrote it down here. John said he was 8A, SDVOSB, and MBE.
Yeah. So let's go 8A and let's get to service. So there we go. Service disabled, and let's do that. Okay. If I don't break this, let me hit submit. So now, John, we're really going to drill down. So if we kind of look at our agenda for today, we started with NAICS code, where we're between agency and planning. Sometimes when you, okay, come on, I don't want to. Oh, there we go. We went down. Okay. Now, what we did was we refined a little bit more. So now, John, now you've got, if you go Health and Human Services, Department of Veteran Affairs, Homeland Security and Transportation, and let's say Interior. Now we plugged in set aside information for 8A and service disabled veteran owned business. Okay, so if we take 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, let's say 5, because let's see, Interior's at 4 million. There's 5, that's 9. 11, now we're at 20 million, 32 million, and 34, 60, $66 million over the last, we got 3 years, have been spent with service disabled veteran and 8A businesses with your NAICS code. So, John, now that we've identified NAICS code and agency, what do we need to do next?
Sub-agencies.
Oh, you're so good. Do you want to take it? Go ahead, Ashley. Sub-agencies.
So when we're looking at this, it's important to know that agencies in USA spending are the departments. They're the highest level, right? And then under each department, you've got sub-agencies, which is here. So saying you are approaching, say you're approaching DOD, you can ask very specific questions and utilize this intel to get warm introductions to, say, Air Force, Navy, etc. So I would even challenge you, and don't let this fool you. The Offices tab has been there for as long as I've been in this industry. It said coming soon, and it's not.
Yeah.
But getting to an even more granular level, everybody that's awarding contracts in the government is a human, just like you and I. Everybody behind those desks are humans. So within the Army, there's probably hundreds of procurement offices spread all across the country. You need to actually know the humans in those offices. So I'm diverting a little bit here, but more or less, you get the point. We're just scraping the surface today and teaching you how to use the tools. But we're going to get farther into the strategy and the planning as well. And part of that is identifying the sub-agencies and even furthermore, the offices or specific procurement locations that buy.
Excellent. Okay. We're moving fast. I know. Any questions related to NAICS code or agencies so far? And don't be shy. And you can even put your question in the chat if you like to do that. Robert Howard's got his hand up. Thank you, Robert. Go ahead.
Are you able to sort by region or state or some otherwise geographical way?
Yes, absolutely, you can.
Okay, Robert, give me what's your business, Robert, again?
We're in basically asphalt paving. Unfortunately, I don't know our NAICS code yet, but I intend to look that
paving,
up.
Yeah, paving. And did you have any certifications? Did you have DBE?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And Ashley, if I'm correct, DBE, that really isn't going to count for a federal. That's more on a state, local level, disadvantaged business enterprise. If he's not registered.
Well, SAM does now ask upon registration if you have been certified by a DOT. So the correct answer is there's not currently any business that's set aside just for DBE. The set aside business is 8A at the federal level, but DBE is being taken into consideration at some level for the federal government to be asking you if you're certified. There's a gray area with that right now. And if I receive any more information before the end of the cohort on that, I will certainly let you know.
I love John Boggs's next question. How do you meet the humans? Well, we're getting there, John. We're taking you through. We're getting you all set. So, all right, but let's answer Robert Howard's question. So, let's do this. Let's go back. Ashley, I might need you just to, if I go back to, I'm going to go back to agency. Location. Haha. There we go. Robert, what part of the country? Oh, Arizona. That's easy, right? What we got? Country we want.
You want to select United States, and then you'll be able to select Arizona.
That's it. And this is Arizona. Okay, give me Arizona. And then if I come back, let's do this. Okay, we've taken out.
Click your add filter though, so it recognizes that you changed the geography.
And I'm taking out the NAICS codes. I'm going to take out this sole source. I'm going to take out that and that.
I'm a huge data nerd if nobody can tell.
What did you want me to take out?
Click your add filter so that it recognizes that you isolated Arizona.
Where's my add filter?
Go down just a little bit. It's right underneath the location criteria. Right there. And then resubmit your search.
Yes. Well, I wanted to put in paving.
Oh, sorry about that.
Remember, he had a keyword for paving. Let's just put paving in.
You'll want to take out your NAICS code too, if you haven't already.
I did take out the NAICS code, and I took out the set-asides. So I got all that out. Okay. So now I'm going to hit submit. So we did paving in Arizona. So we've got DOD. Okay, so let's kind of address this for a quick second, Ashley. So if you're going to sell to the DOD, Ashley, you probably want to be a certified, at least small business minimum to do DOD?
DOD, basically the difference between DOD and the other agencies is the defense industrial base requires small businesses to be at least CMMC level 1 compliant, which stands for the Cybersecurity Maturity Model. That's not as easy of an ask as just registering in SAM, right? There are processes and protocols you have to put in place. You have to self-assess every year to maintain DoD compliance. Typically what you want to look for in a solicitation. Now, I will say, like USACE, Army Corps of Engineers, they have not yet implemented CMMC. So we can all work with the Army Corps of Engineers and not be compliant with CMMC level 1. And what it actually is the NIST 800 self-assessment. We don't have time to get too far into the weeds on that. But if you're just entering into the government market, DoD is more of a long-term goal than a short-term goal because of that additional component. It also indicates when you're doing business with DoD, not only are you having to be in compliance with FAR, but also the DFARS, the Defense Federal Acquisition Regulations Supplement. So they also have kind of their own set of rules. They're particularly challenging for a newer small business. It's not well developed, but somebody like John, might be already on his way to cybersecurity compliance. So it does take a little while to get there. If you're wondering why David keeps skipping over DoD a little bit, that's exactly why, is because they're quite demanding in their requirements.
So again, I would not necessarily start with DoD. I'm doing federal procurement readiness and working with my small business clients, I would go to the Department of Interior, National Science Foundation, Health and Human Services, even Homeland Security. So if you add this up over the last 3 years in paving in Arizona, we're at 1 million, another million, that's almost 303 million. That's 5 million. If you add that in, almost $6 million over the past 3 years in paving. I didn't even put in small business or any set asides, just that the government is doing in Arizona. If you added in the DoD, look at how high that number goes up. But again, you're just getting started. So as Ashley was stating, all that about selling to the DoD and working with the DoD, it's a little bit complicated. So, but there are other agencies where you could start, get your feet wet, get some past performance, get some revenue coming in, and then down the road you can start to pursue the DoD. Okay, Robert, you good with that? All right. Any other questions? Any other comments? We got a hand up. Did I see another hand up? Miss Rice. And am I saying your first name correct? Milan?
It's Milan, yeah.
Milan. All right. All right.
So
Go
I
ahead,
have a question since you brought up the Department of Defense. I need to know, or maybe this is a question you can answer for me later. For the Department of Defense, from what people who are in the military, who are part of the Department of Defense, of course, are telling me that they need what I have, which is what I didn't mention is I do train assault. And for what I hear, they're looking for me. So with that being said, what kind of certification do I need to get in? Because if they're looking for me, then I need to do that. And so they're looking to do that because they want their soldiers on the base to understand the causes and effect, about sexual assault. So I'm a sexual assault survivor, so I teach that. So what type of
I would encourage you. So you've got Alika, Vanessa, and Yvette on with Arizona MBDA. We're trying to be very specific with the class and class questions. I would encourage you. In fact, I would urge you to follow up with them because that's part of their job, is to help folks like yourself, right, get to that. So, yeah. No,
I still have to ask.
That's a great question. In fact, it's sad that it's needed, right? Very, very sad. As a father of 3 daughters, that's horrible, right? But glad we have educational people like yourself out there that can really help, right? And get to that. So you've got
I will
Vanessa.
say also, thank you for what you're doing and
yes.
helping others. And we are going to answer a lot of those questions and provide insight to the how when we get to the marketing section of the course. So when we get there, if there's still lingering questions that are specific as related to finding the information, and that doesn't answer your question, we can certainly address it because we'll already be in the weeds then with the marketing. So we will definitely, and John, that will probably answer a lot of your questions too about how do you meet the humans. We will get to marketing.
So let's get to that. Let me come back to here. So as we stated in the class, we've got NAICS code agency. We've worked our way down. John, I believe one of the agencies that I saw consistently was Health and Human Services for what you do. So let's go to Health and Human Services. Let me share my screen again.
HHS actually has a happy hour that they do at least once a month. Sometimes it has themes like silly hats or pajamas. Everybody shows up, they're on camera. The small business liaison shows up to every event. So that is a great way to meet the humans, is to meet the agency that's on your targeted list, meet them halfway, show up in the room, drop your elevator pitch, get to engaging. That's how we build relationships.
Oh man, Ashley, I love it. Okay, so Ashley, can you grab this and put this in the chat? This is U.S. Department of Health, Human Services. We've got the Office of Small and Disadvantaged Business Utilization. Now, we might think, okay, well, the goal is to meet the humans, right? I think that's what John Bach said. Okay, so there's a couple different ways to start to do that. So, John, if you're seeing my screen, this is one of the first things that I do. So we've got staff, and you can start to go through these one at a time. Now, I might be a little old school, but I still believe in a nice phone call and a nice email to introduce myself in a business. Now, you're probably going to get back a just a standard email, do this, 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 and this. Ashley mentioned the happy hours and so forth. You have to start somewhere. And I'm going to stop share because I got to explain this. I think Ashley mentioned it earlier. Even though we're dealing with the federal government, we're still dealing with humans. At the end of the day, that contracting officer is still a human. That small business person is still a human. People still buy from people. We're not all robots. We haven't gone cyber yet, right? So you're right, John. You want to use the NAICS codes to pick out the agencies, and then you want to start planning. You want to start planning. Now, I'm going to give you one of my life experiences and then share with you why I feel that planning is so important. So I lived in Kansas City, Missouri. I was working for my first 8A company. We had some initial success with the Department of Interior. We had answered a source of sought. We were an 8A company. We got a $250,000 opportunity, and that led to millions and millions of dollars. So we thought, oh man, we got this government thing down. So we took a trip to Washington, D.C. We had called and emailed small business folks. We had appointments lined up. And one by one, when we met them, by the end of the day, we felt this small. And here's why. We showed up and said, hey, I'm David Neal from Kansas City. We're the next best thing to sliced bread. We're an 8A company. What do you guys do here at this agency? Each of them, especially one lady individually, boy, she really read me the riot act. But what I learned from that visit was I have to be prepared. I need to know what the agency is buying. I need to know their roadmap. I need to know what's on their forecast. After that visit, went back 6 months later, had different meetings with different people. But when I walked in the door, I said, I'm David Neal from Kansas City. We're doing work today with the Department of Interior. We've looked at your forecast. We've looked at your roadmap. And with the work that we are doing, the problems that we are solving with them, we can do the same thing with you. We're looking forward to sitting down and having a conversation with you today and letting you know how our business can help this agency reach its goals. Completely different meetings. We were prepared. We were ready. We knew it. That was 3 8A companies ago, and I've been working with 8A and women-owned and veteran-owned service-disabled businesses ever since 2015. We have a great success rate because we plan and we prepare, and we get our people ready to have meetings. We just did this. I've got a really nice friend of mine, Anna Ehrman, went from the State Department. She's now with the VA. And we have a meeting with the client, and we have a presentation we're going to give in October. We will be ready to give that presentation for the VA. We are already starting to go over their 282-page roadmap. We're going to know everything about that organization before we sit down and we meet with them. You have to plan. You have to plan, and then you got to have realistic expectations. And here's the realistic expectation. So I used to be a copier salesman back in the day, early 2000s, walking up and down the streets selling copiers. And the same thing still applies today. I had to knock on 50 doors to get 25 people to talk to me. Out of that 25 that talked to me, if I could sell to half of them, 12, I was good. Same thing. You got to knock on a lot of doors, because guess what? There's a lot of competition. You guys are out in Arizona. You're not in the Beltway, right? There's a lot of small businesses competing. All of you small businesses on here that introduced yourself and said, I don't have a certification, I'm not certified. Well, you just went to the back of the line, because everybody that is certified, that has their 8A, has their service disabled veteran owned business, has their women owned, their hub zone, they're going to be moved to the front of the line. Why is that? Well, as you get to know each of these agencies, they each have goals. They've got to hit small business goals. They've got to hit women-owned small business goals, service disabled veteran-owned hub zone. Why are they going to talk to you if you're not going to help them, number one, solve their problem, or number two, hit that agency's goals? So you might think, man, why aren't they buying from me? I'm a good guy. I've got a nice business. Well, one of the first things they're going to ask you is, are you certified? Have you gone through the CVE program with the Service Disabled Veteran Owned Small Business? Don't even go and talk to the VA unless you've got that. So we're going to spend the next few weeks really diving in deep on each of these angles, so that you're going to start to get yourself ready, not only with your product and your service and your agency. That's just sitting on the surface. Actually jump in here, right, when we're talking about planning and selling. What we've done today in the last 48 minutes, that's just getting you kind of positioned and prepared. We're really going to help you now to take that deep dive into these agencies. Go ahead, Ashley.
So when it comes to realistic expectations, there's something I definitely want you all to remember is in government contracting, you have the rule and then you have the exception. So to piggyback off what David said about the certifications, he does have a very good point when it comes to the agency meeting the goals. However, it's not the big picture. The big picture is solving the need, and the exception is simplified acquisitions, right? So based on the FAR, anything between or anything under 250,000 is a simplified acquisition, right? So not all of us have John's 8A or an SDVOB where we have a sole source component, but SAP contracts, simplified acquisition procedures, can be sole source to small businesses if, and believe me, the government doesn't want to do more work than they have to, guys, if you engage early. And that's sort of what this whole cohort is about, is making sure that when you come out of this, you're not dependent upon sitting around on SAM waiting for a solicitation with everybody else. We want to get you in the door having conversations with buyers, being proactive in your procurement strategy so that you can influence the requirements when they become a solicitation. That's how you become successful in government contracting, but we can't go from A to Z. We've got to start somewhere. So one of sort of the strategic elements is knowing the different ways the government buys, right? We talked about simplified acquisitions, but even smaller than that. And believe me, when you add up these crumbs, they turn into a big portion of the pie. Micro purchases, right? It's just basically a government credit card. Every contracting officer has one. Every project manager has one. Because they're 10,000 and under for products, 3,500 and under for services, excluding construction, another exception. The only way to get to them is by having conversations, right? They're not going to be on the procurement forecast. They're never going to see the light of day on SAM. But if you reach the right human at the right time that has a need that you determined because you did your homework, why not? Why wouldn't they award it to you, right? So don't always think about the multi-million-dollar contracts and bidding. It's more than that. A solicitation is just one way to get a contract. So by the end of this, we're going to teach you all the ways. So as it goes into planning, when you see those crumbs down at the bottom, I like to focus on the agencies. When you see at the top of the USA spending, like that DoD spending we saw, doing business with the likes of Leidos and Deloitte, look, let's be realistic. We're not going to compete against those guys. So we can either team with them or subcontract with them, right? But it's still federal revenue. So we want to know all of the different opportunities that are at our fingertips, not just what's going to hit the light of day on SAM, because that contracting officer, depending on the dollar amount, could have awarded that multiple times before it ever saw the light of day on SAM. What do I mean by that? Micro purchase, GSA schedule, one of the best in class government-wide acquisition contracts. So there's opportunities that you don't even see reported on SAM because only contract holders are getting them. So we're going to teach you how to strategically plan to capture all of those opportunities because each of those has a little bit of a different strategy, if that makes sense.
So just to be clear, thank you, Ashley, for that. This week, we discussed NAICS codes, agencies, how to plan, right? How to find the people, and then realistic expectations. That's still up here. All we did, and you should be able to walk out of this class right now, identify your NAICS codes and identify your agencies. You can also then identify the small business people. Again, we're setting up
and
here.
Your product service codes.
And your product service code. Don't forget that. Now, next
Hey, anybody here not registered? I'm sorry, David. Anybody here not yet registered in SAM?
Oh, hey, we're going to get
to spend a lot of time on that or no? Are we good on SAM?
So next week, we're gonna be very clear, and we want you to be very clear. And so we're gonna discuss that. But 3 vital important things: your past performance, your financials, and your certifications. These areas are really going to start to help you differentiate yourself, right? Get past your competition and start that planning process to start going deeper now into these agencies. Vanessa, did you have your hand up?
Yes, I was just going to comment on the USA spending because I was, playing with that as you guys were sharing it. On there, it does, I believe, I wanted to ask, my question is under the table, it shows the contracts that have been given throughout the past years and the contact information for those prime contractors. Is that valid? Is that legit? Are those, is that the right information that people can look at? Okay.
Yeah, and we'll be getting into that. We'll be getting into that when it comes to like marketing and who we're going to go after. We're going to do a little bit deeper dive.
Yeah, we're going to talk about that.
We'll get that. Yes. Okay. Wow, we have 6 minutes left. Any questions? We were going to leave 10 minutes, but I knew we were going to run out of time. Please do not be shy. If you got, okay, let's look at the chat. Make sure we got everything.
I haven't seen any questions come through yet. No.
Okay, so we're doing good there. Okay, any questions? Don't be shy. Go ahead, John Boggs. You got your hand up. Go ahead.
Now, I just want to be accurate. What we looked at today, everything we looked at was in USA spending.
So we started with the NAICS code search, right? Identifying your NAICS code. And there are a couple of different websites. I did put that link into the chat. And then we went to USA spending, correct? Though both of those websites are free. Both of those websites are free. We will be exploring and using those as we go, because obviously Vanessa was playing with, there's a lot of different
There's
features
a
and
lot of
things.
good stuff in there.
Right. So get those two websites, because we will be referring to those and using that over the next few weeks. Great question.
Yeah.
Okay.
And
anyone
also
else?
the last link that we looked at, John, was the HHS Office of Small and Disadvantaged Business Utilization. We use that as a use case on how to find the small business contacts within the agencies. And I did pop all of the links into the chat if anybody wants to grab those out of there before the meeting closes.
So, John, to go back to one of your earlier questions in the chat, how do we meet the humans? By the time we're done with the class, you should have really good, clear direction on how to meet the humans, but most importantly on what to say to the humans. And that's we can't just let you loose now. We got 3 more classes, right? So we're going to be training you, teaching you, using this data. The more you know, the more you can equip yourself with good knowledge about the agency, your competition, the better off you're going to be prepared when you have that conversation with someone. And you'll blow their mind. And then they'll say, you need to be doing this within our agency. That's the best line ever. So that's what we're working towards. And again, like Ashley was saying, we're going to help you to be proactive so that you aren't just sitting back reacting. You can take the reins and run with it and make your own federal procurement. That's the goal here. Okay, any questions? And if there are no questions, I just want to thank personally Alika, Yvette, Vanessa for being with us. Thank you all for sharing this afternoon with us. I know we went over a lot of information. We will be back next week. Next week, the focus again is going to be on being very clear with what you do. Got to be very clear. Then we're going to talk about how important past performance, your financials, your certifications, along with eligibility is going to be. That's really where we're going to start crafting your federal procurement readiness. Ashley, any final words before we hand it back over to Alika?
Yeah, actually, because number 1 on next week's agenda is your business be clear. I challenge you to convince us to buy from you with your elevator pitch. So bring your elevator pitches next week with you. We'll drop them in the chat if you want to verbalize them and come off mute. And that was always a favorite in the past cohorts. And it really helps you kind of think through your value and sort of map your experience and deliver that in a clear and concise manner to your government buyers.
Oh, that's great. Alika, thank you so much for having us. We got a few more weeks to go. Any final words of wisdom that you can share with us, Alika?
Thank you so much. I think in the hour that we've had this afternoon, we've already covered a lot of ground, a lot of important things. And so thank you so much. And I know there's a lot more to come. I'm really excited about that. Thank you so much for sharing your expertise. And I just want to advise everybody, what you learned from today, don't just stuck it away in your head and then just show up the next week again. Please do the homework. Ashley is listed over there. Go to usspending.gov. First identify your NAICS code. Go to usspending.gov and then by keyword determine who's buying, what to sell, and do all of that. Do that homework. So when you come next time, you've already absorbed and applied and you're ready for the next step. Otherwise, this is going to be lost on you. And, we've paid for this. This is coming to you free, but we've paid for this so you can have it for free. Please take advantage of it. So thank you so much. Thank you for joining.
Everybody, thank you for being with us.
Thank you,
This
everyone.
is just the first class. We've got 3 more to go. And we really don't be shy. Do not be shy. We don't have any
There
time
is
for
no
people
such
who are
thing
shy.
as a stupid question. That's right.
That's right. We want to help. So we will see you all next week. Take care, everyone.
Thank
Bye,
you so
everyone.
much.
Yeah,
Bye-bye.
bye-bye.
Thank
Take
you.
care. Bye-bye.